Calls on all the big races. Welcome along to our weekly programme. It is What a Shout, brought to you by the Racing Post, and it's sponsored by Betfred. We have lots to look forward to and races to dissect this weekend. We've got the best of the action from Newmarket, the Cesarewitch, it's Future Champions weekend, and also a good couple of races, strong card at York too. Don't forget, we want to hear from you. If you like the programme as we're going along, like the show, and also we want to hear your selections for the weekend too. Plenty of involvement is always good. So the team, let's introduce them. G-Rod, it's great to have you here. Looking very smart.
Thank you, Em. Yeah,
dressed up for Friday.
Very excited. Yeah, very excited for this Friday and next Friday and the Friday after and the Friday after that. It's a great time of year, this, isn't it? All the way up to Christmas. It's just one Saturday after another of great racing, kicking off with the Cesarewitch tomorrow at Newmarket.
Do you like this transitional period where we go into the jump season?
Yeah, love it, because these big handicaps on the flat, like the Cesarewitch, the Cambridgeshire we had a couple of weeks ago, they're sort of my sort of races, aren't they? You look at them, you think, yeah, I'll get my teeth stuck into that. Loads of runners, might get a 33-1 winner.
And Future Champions weekend, you like the Dewhurst because you get excited about what we've got to look forward to next year. Yeah,
and we've got a really exciting one, haven't we, this year, lining up as favourite City of Troy. So if he can win well and then go into the winter, it'll really give us something to look forward to next spring, won't it?
How's the brain, the punting brain? Is it good at the moment? Firing on all cylinders?
It's been good this week, yeah. Not so good for the 3 weeks that Master Kealy was away. But yeah, this week's been fairly good. A bit unlucky on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday, to have 3 winners in a row. One got beat after trading very short in running. But that's how punting goes, isn't it? It goes in sort of peaks and troughs. And at the moment it's at a peak, but the trough's probably not far around the corner, is it?
Speaking of Master Kealy, he's back in the room. Well, not literally. He's at the end of Skype after a 3-week trip around America. How are you? You're back in one piece. Was it good?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, loved every minute of it. Driving around America, covered about 3,000 miles overall. Spent the last week on a farm. Yeah, so it was really good fun. Good weather for the most part. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Sounds like a farm in your house. I can hear your budgie in the background.
Oh, God, he's an absolute nightmare. He will not shut up since I've got back. And I wouldn't mind. He don't really like me anyway. But that's him. He's over by the window at the front at the moment. He's been flying over my head for the last 5 or 10 minutes. So you never know. He might come into picture.
Oh, good. I'd like to meet him. Heard so much about him. I feel like he's missed you. Very talkative. Did you manage to? There he is. Did you manage to switch off? Did you literally zone out of racing when you were away?
No, well, the funny thing is, you see, because they're so far ahead, I was able to sneakily watch a bit first thing in the morning before anybody else was getting up and getting involved. So I did keep an eye on it. It was rather annoying because I thought to myself, if I was at home, I'd be cleaning up, get all those short price favourites getting beat. Just my sort of racing, that is. So yeah, I missed that. But hopefully we'll be back on form this week, and we've got jump racing ground for the flat, so there could be some upsets coming as well.
It feels a lot like winter, doesn't it? It wasn't quite as you went away.
No, absolutely. It was summer when I went away. I couldn't believe it when I came back. It hasn't stopped raining.
Well, we'll be chatting to Kills throughout the programme. And finally, Matt, how are you?
Yeah, well, I think I've got the same set of drawers as Keels, but I won't mind the golf bag as well, so if you could turn that my way, that'd be handy.
How's everything been going with you? What are you busy looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, like Rod has said, it's a brilliant time of year. My favourite time of year. Some fantastic races on the flat, and obviously the jumper's really getting going as well with Chepstow. So yeah, loads to look forward to. I was lucky enough. I was at Jack Dawes on Tuesday. I went to Ludlow on Wednesday, my first jumps meeting of the winter. So I get stuck into these cards this weekend. So yeah, what's not to love?
Well, you can currently get 50% off your first 3 months of Racing Post Members Club. Here's how. Pleased to welcome Charlie Appleby to the programme. Great to have you with us. Charlie, how's things your end?
All good, thank you, Emma. Obviously just trying to dodge the rain at the moment this week.
It's all of a sudden feeling, I was going to say a lot like autumn, but actually let's just change it to winter. It lashed with rain last night and it's pretty dull, isn't it, out there?
Yeah, unfortunately, look, we had 20 mil of rain there yesterday, well, over the 24 hours, and another 10 mil overnight there. So it's going to be, soft ground at Newmarket this afternoon, and with more rain forecast, getting more testing come tomorrow.
From your point of view, Champions Day next weekend, have things started to slow down, or have you still got lots of 2-year-olds that you need to run before the end of the season?
And we've still got a few 2-year-olds to run for sure. As our 2-year-olds have been slower coming to hand, and that's just basically the pedigree and the stature of horse that we have. So there's been no panic buttons being pressed. So we've got these horses to run this weekend, Future Champions weekend, and then plenty of horses to hopefully go breaking their maidens into the winter and see where we are in the spring of next year.
And looking at the year as a whole, strike rate's been very good. It's just lacked 1 or 2 stars, hasn't it? But following on from last year was always going to be difficult.
Oh, for sure, as you say, when the retirement of those great race horses in Hurricane Lane and Adyar and Modern Games and the team like that. Once those move out the yard, they're big shoes to fill. So we're having to go through that rebuilding process, which is what has to be done. We're confident where we are with there are some nice horses coming through the ranks, and so therefore, very much just building on, like I said, getting some of these 2-year-olds out now for the rest of the year, and then regroup in the spring and see what sort of horses we're dealing with going into next season.
You've done well in America and Canada this year. You've fired plenty of bullets, and they've hit the target. Canadian International last weekend with Nations Pride, which was a good result, amongst others. Delighted. Obviously, a little bit not frustrated, but Master of the Games just getting caught on the line there. He ran a very solid race, and he's obviously potentially still in contention for a Breeders' Cup mile. And then, as you quite rightly mentioned there, Nations Pride put up another good performance there, winning. So Canadian International, which is back up from winning in Germany a Group 1. So the plan is for him to head to the Bahrain Trophy now. And we're just wrapping up Book 1, Book 2, and actually 3 and 4 currently in Newmarket. But Book 1 and 2, a couple of nice prospects coming your way. How much do you get involved with the buying side of things, or going to the sales and looking at the yearlings?
Yes, as always, you're there to try and find the new star, and sometimes that can be a lot of work put into it at Book 1, and obviously a team going into Book 2 as well, looking. So hopefully they've. Collectively, we feel we've found the right horses that we'll start to live the dream and go through the process of being broken in and see where we are in the spring of next year and follow them through their 2-year-old careers, and hopefully there'll be a star amongst them.
Looking ahead to Saturday, we kick off with Ancient Wisdom in the Autumn Stakes. 2 from 3 met a very good one in Rasalian at Ascot last time. What do you make of his chances? He's
a horse that has got a pedigree that stepping up in trip into 3-year-old careers, most definitely hopefully going to see further improvement. But he broke his maiden nicely at Haydock there, and if anything, maybe we ran him back quick enough there at Newmarket there in the novice, because it wasn't quite so impressive there. Therefore, I did feel as though it probably told a little bit there at Ascot. But at the end of the day, it was as we know, a very good pedigree. The form of that is rock solid with obviously the winner going on to be a Group 1 horse. So we decided to give him a break. He was a Debawi there that we felt a break would do him good, and physically he's done very well. And obviously stepping up to the mile now on ground is going to be testing, which doesn't worry me. I've always felt this horse will be better with a bit of juice in the ground. So I don't give any negatives going into tomorrow, really. He's got rock solid form, he's got the experience, and we do feel that the ground and the trip are there to suit.
Another horse stepping up in distance is Arabian Crown in the 3:15, the Zetland Stakes. Has looked pretty smart so far, winning at Sandown, then a listed race at Salisbury last time.
Yeah, he's a horse that, again, he's laden with stamina in the pedigree. Obviously, last seen winning the Stonehenge, he's got a lovely profile going into the Zetland tomorrow. Again, I feel that the ground shouldn't inconvenience him. It'll emphasise the stamina side of it, which I think he's got plenty of it. So he's again got great solid form, and more importantly, he's got just a nice profile going into a race where we feel the step up in trip and the ground conditions are there to suit. So two nice colts, hopefully.
And then Highland Avenue in the Earthlight Darley Stakes at 3:50. Good second in the Diamond. at Epsom, 4th in the Wolverton at Royal Ascot, and hasn't been seen since running at Newbury back in July. A quick update on him.
Yeah, no, he's in great form. I mean, look, Highland Avenue, he's been around the block a few times now, but his main role was obviously leading a lot of those Adiars and Hurricane Lanes in the spring there. So he did that was his main role, and then he came out and obviously ran a very creditable race there at Newmarket on the Rolling Mile there in the spring. Followed it up with a decent run in the, as we said, the Diomed. It was a bit disappointing on the last run, but to be fair, we dropped him in and rode him slightly differently, thinking a change of tactics might just freshen him up a little bit, but it didn't pay off. So I dare say we go back to the more forward riding of him tomorrow on a track that we know that suits him on ground that we know he handles.
So of the three I've just mentioned tomorrow, which would be your best bet of the weekend? Almost likely winner for the weekend, if not all three.
I don't think you can get away both of the colts there in Ancient Wisdom and Arabian Crown. Go there with favourites chances, and I can't pick a hole in them. So it'd be wrong for me to choose between either one of them. They're just two nice colts that are worthy favourites, and they, for me, I think they're the ones to beat. And
anything for Champions Day next weekend?
No, unfortunately not. No, it will be. We are watching from afar, but wishing everyone the best of luck. But no, we won't be participating ourselves this year, so we'll hopefully get a team together for next year.
And much of a team for the Breeders' Cup? You mentioned one.
Yeah, obviously Master C's would be the sort of main antagonist, and if we decide to take him, we would potentially we muted whether with the Moonlight would take a chance in the fillies and mares, but probably unlikely now. She ran a solid race there in Canada, but she's have a bit to find still to be a player there in the Breeders' Cup. A couple of horses there possibly for the undercard there in Silver Knot for the Twilight Derby, as they call it, and there's a marathon race there on the dirt there, which we might just look at Sicily making his way over there and having a crack at that basically. But Master C's would be the main contender.
Charlie, thank you very much indeed. You are now a newcomer to Skype. You know how to work it and participate on the programme. So we will
something new every day.
We will get you back. Good luck this weekend and good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you.
Emma, thank you ever so much. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Great, as always, to hear from trainer Charlie Appleby. He looks to have quite a strong hand this weekend. One man, G-Rod, that has ridden many, many winners in those blue colours is Frankie Dettori. Were you surprised about the news yesterday that he's going to carry on for a few more years in America?
I don't think it was a surprise, was it?
No.
I think a few people had been suggesting that maybe he might continue, and of course it is up to him, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's his life and his career, and if he wants to carry on, then fair enough. I just think that obviously we've been through a whole year of the Frankie Dettori farewell show to then find out at the end it was all a complete waste of time, wasn't it? So thanks for that, Frankie.
It looks like as well, people say, Champions Day next weekend, we won't see him at Ascot again. I'd bet any money he'll be at Royal Ascot on some of those American horses next year.
It's odds on, isn't it, that we'll see him at Royal Ascot for sure next year, and maybe even some of the other big races over here. He's already said that he's going to go and ride globally in Dubai and places like that. So I don't think we've seen anywhere near the end of Dettori quite yet.
I don't think so. Do you, Keels?
No, I think it became an open secret over the last few weeks, isn't it? That it wasn't quite going to happen as we expected. He's certainly got a good year out of the farewell to change it, isn't he? But yeah, why not? I mean, he's still an incredibly good rider. He might not be as good as he was 25 years ago, but he's still right up there with the best, isn't he? So carry on, crack on. Good luck to him.
Well, let's crack on with the racing on that note. So we kick off with the 1:15 from York. It's the Rockingham Stakes for 2-year-olds over 6 furlongs, and it's pretty open, Matt. How do they bet here?
Yeah, it is. Pure sangue, I think so you say it, isn't it? Is the market leader when they go to post. He's 11-4 at present for Andrew Ball, and PJ McDonald's got a decent record when riding for the King's Clear outfit. I like Starlaw 9-2, dropped back a furlong in trip. I thought he travelled really well in this low. I don't know if you didn't quite see it out. He was just almost reeled in close home in his maiden to Sandown as well. So I think the dropping trip's the right thing for him to stay at 9-2. Esquire, seen that one once, won 13-2, Sketch 13-2, and the King's horse, Serid Ranks, who won the Glorious Goodwood Nursery 13-2. So as you say, a wide open look to the betting heat for Rockingham.
2-year-old races at this time of year with plenty of rain, middle of October. Are they your bag?
Plenty of guesses involved, isn't there?
A lot.
But I do like them. I think the favourite's the right favourite, Puro Sangue. Is that what we were saying? I think that also does want soft ground, and we'll get it here, you'd have thought. Although there's not quite as much rain forecast at York as there is at Newmarket, I don't think. I quite like the King's runner, Cesarewitch. Was very impressive when he won at Goodwood, and it was wet ground that day. They were kicking it up quite badly. He came right down the centre. He made a really nice move through the middle of the race and came and beat a horse called Starlust, who went on to win the Serenia Stakes at Kempton and finished 6 lengths behind Van Dijk in the Middle Park. So that form's fairly good. It was off level weights, albeit only a nursery. The time's pretty good. I think that the ground will suit Cesarewitch as well. So one for Rafe Beckett, who's absolutely flying. What a season he's had, Rafe.
Incredible season. We had him on the programme last weekend. Perfect type of race, Keels, to get stuck into after being away for 3 months, I'd have thought.
Yeah, absolutely interesting. I do think Puro Sangue will probably win. I think he's got the best form by some way on that second of Big Evs at Goodwood. If he stays, I don't think there'll be a problem with the trip. He's by acclaim. He obviously loved soft ground, so he's very much the one to beat. He's also had 5 starts, which could be quite important. There's actually 6 of the last 9 winners had at least 6 starts going into this race. None had less than 3. In fact, only one had as few as 3. So you've got the second and third favourites are very lightly raced, and a few others in there too. I think if you can shop around and see if you can get any extra places, the complete outsider World of Darcy is not a stupid bet at 50s or 66 to 1. Only won a novice at Nottingham last week, but earlier in the season, running on 4 for 20 to relieve Rally off levels in the Super Sprint. Third on a soft ground listed race at Deauville in August. So likes the ground, is, I think on Race Post ratings is something like the 6th best out of the 12 runners, and is the complete outsider by a chunk. So I think that might go well at an each way price.
Good stuff. Well, let's turn our attention to the 125, the Emirates Autumn Stakes, the Group 3 over a mile at Newmarket. And I think Charlie Appleby's Ancient Wisdom is likely to be the favourite here. Matt, is that right? What kind of price?
Yeah, he is, and it's sponsored by Godolphin this card, isn't it? And they might as well call this the Godolphin Benefit Autumn Stakes, because they just win it, don't they, when they turn up in blue. They won 6 of the last 7, a couple for side Bin Saror. Charlie Appleby had 4 winners as well. He's also trained a 2nd and a 3rd. And Ancient Wisdom, if you're there, you have a look at him in the parade ring, because that's what €2 million gets you. 7 to 4 favourite. We're not seeing him since 3rd to Rosalian at Ascot. That form was pretty good now. Maybe there's been something wrong because it's nearly 3 months ago, but he's a 7 to 4 favourite. Chief Little Rock 4 to 1. Brain O'Brien. And Arabic Legend, obviously we see Arabian Crown later on. That could be, if that one goes well, a good form bearer for that one in the Zetland at 3:15, isn't it? So that could be one to keep an eye on with later on the card. But I think Ancient Wisdom, the boys in blue, dominate this race.
Yeah, I agree. Keels, I'll start with you here. A very interesting horse. And is really bred to appreciate the step up in distance. Charlie was very sweet on his chances, and he looks a worthy favourite. Do you agree?
I'm not 100% certain he deserves to be as short as he is, to be honest. I mean, he did get beat nearly 5 lengths at Ascot. I know the form worked out really, really well, but even so, and he's not run for 3 months, which suggests an issue of some sort. And he's coming back, and he's going to run on. And this is the other thing. Do you really want to be betting 2 to 1 shots on what's going to be bottomless ground? It won't be far off heavy at Newmarket tomorrow. They've got another bucket of rain coming overnight. So no, I'm not getting involved with him. I thought Arabic Legend would run well. I thought he handled soft ground, and I was going to take a chance on Ambiente Friendly for James Fanshawe, his first 2-year-old juvenile group runner for at least a decade. And this one was, it was good as soft in places at Leicester that day that he won. I know he probably hasn't beat much, but he did it really, really nicely. I thought he looked like a decent enough horse. He's got to improve. Interesting in the name. I don't know how much thinking goes into the naming of these horses or when they name them. But obviously, Bill Gredley's one of his best ever horses was called Environment Friend, and Ambiente is the Portuguese for ambience or environment. And so he's, of course, environment friendly. So you never know. Might have named him for a reason.
God, I love it. He's swallowed an encyclopedia while he's been on holiday. He's very on it today, Keels, isn't he?
I like that reasoning. Yeah, good reasoning, isn't it? Named to be good. Forget form. Just look at the way that he's been named. He's obviously going to be good. No.
What wins?
Chief Little Rock for me.
Oh,
yeah, I like Aidan O'Brien's runner. The race at the last time at the Curragh was a weird one. Deep One was up there with Chief Little Rock the whole way. Deep One went and won well. Looked like Chief Little Rock was going to drop away and be well beaten, and then he rallied really strongly towards the finish. I think if it gets really deep and testing, like, he's going to love it. He's by Galileo. He's out of a Fastnet Rock mare, so he's bred to want really, really testing ground, and he's going to get it, I think. So Chief Little Rock for me,
Well, I'm really looking forward to the next race at Newmarket. And who isn't? The 2 o'clock Native Trail Dewhurst Stakes. We're going to see a very short price favourite here. Just how short, Matt?
3 weeks American, he's coming home tipping horses because of the name. What's happened to him? Yeah, it's a brilliant race, isn't it? City of Troy, already talk about the Triple Crown. He's 5-2 for next year's 2,000 units, 4-1 for the Betfred Derby. And he's 2's on to win the Dewhurst. Obviously, we didn't see him in Irish Champions weekend, but how impressive was he in the July Stakes? But that was obviously a while ago. But he is 2's on. He's all the talk of the town over in Ballydoyle. Iberian, the Betfred Champagne Stakes winners at 4-1. Alian Arby did really well to win last time from a promising position at 17-2. I mean, if there's one I'd hope to hit the frame, Indian Rum, the Acomb win. Okay, the Acomb form hasn't quite worked out, but he did it nicely enough, I thought. And obviously he's behind the rain, his maiden and Starlust, that form that Rodders has already mentioned in his maiden. And I just thought he's quite progressive, and because he's not one of the sexier types, Steve Johnson Horton, I thought 20-1 to hit the frame. But yeah, I'd love to see City of Troy go and win, and obviously go into winter quarters with those classic hopes not dashed.
Interesting. I don't think he's going to have it all his own way here. Keels, when we were at Doncaster and he won the Champagne Stakes, we were big supporters of him on that occasion. They think, the Hills camp, the absolute world of this horse. And he's delivered. I think 4-1's quite big, don't you?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you've got to remember the City of Troy was taken out of the National Stakes because of the ground. Now, we had Aidan O'Brien saying the other day that it was probably because he didn't think he was quite fit enough. But this is going to be absolutely bottomless ground, and if he thinks he's a good moving horse, etc., then there's got to be an issue with it. And I thought initially the issue with Iberian was the ground, because he got beat at Goodwood and he was a drifter originally. But I spoke to Charlie Hills that day, and he said it wasn't the ground at all. He said it's just simply the fact that he didn't handle Goodwood, and he's much better than that. And he won very easily, didn't he? He won very easily. So yeah, why not take the favourite on? A horse that's been taken out of one race due to soft ground is now going to run on even softer ground, and his 2's on. He deserves that place in the market on what he's done, of course, but I'm not getting involved in 2's on shots on what could be heavy ground.
Goodness me, that is literally like a big squawk in my ear.
I think he lives in an aviary, doesn't he?
I think so. There's not just one, is there? Deafeningly.
Going to be very exciting, isn't it, to see City of Troy run? He looked the absolute real deal when he won at Newmarket.
I do hope they do run. It would be a massive anticlimax if they took him out on the ground.
It would be, wouldn't it? It wouldn't entirely be surprising, though.
Not impossible.
As Kiel said, do they want him to have a hard race at this time of year on tough ground? Could they just go into the winter on the back of those 2? But let's hope he runs, and let's hope that we see something special. He's obviously going to be very difficult to beat if he reproduces the form that he showed in the July Stakes. However, I fancy, remember there's 8 runners here, and people like Hills and I are always going to be looking to take on these horses because, you're basing
each way value.
Exactly. You're basing it on one run, aren't you, City of Troy, really? That one outstanding performance. We don't know he's going to definitely produce it for sure, and there's 8 runners, and because he's 1-2, the market on the rest of them is all huge. And I like Henry Adams, the other Aidan O'Brien horse, at a big price to hit the frame. And who knows, if they go and we've seen it before, haven't they? They go and pull City of Troy out and Ryan Moore ends up on this. Could be a lot shorter price. But he definitely likes soft ground. His best performance came 2 out and to go on testing ground. He finished 4th behind Rosalian in France last time. Decent run, obviously not good enough to win this sort of race. But I do think that if it comes up really testing, he will be a big player because he's by no nay never. And these horses always like some cut in the ground. So I'm going to go into this race hoping that I see something special from the favourite, City of Troy, but I'll definitely be backing Henry Adams each way with the 3 places on offer And who knows, maybe they pull City of Troy out, Ryan ends up on Henry Adams.
And you're on the value.
And I'm on a value. We'll see.
We'll see. Well, 25 minutes later at York is a decent 6 furlong sprint. Not an easy one. Matt, is the market going to help us here?
Probably not. No, it is wide open. But we are 5 places each way, so that may help you on this one. Just looking through, 17 of the 22 ran 3 weeks ago. Most of them at air in various guises of the Gold and the Silver Cup. But it's a draw stat here. Interesting. 9 of the last 10 have been drawn in a single figure, which is interesting, I thought. But significantly, 5-1 would have been a lucky loser at air. 5-1 favourite. Albishire, who dead-eated the track and trip early in the season, 6-1. Apollo 1, the nearly horse, won so many good races in big handicaps this season. Probably a little bit disappointing. An easier gig at Beverley last time out, not to get off the mark, 9-1. Pendleton, 9-1. Judy Camacho, what a year she is, had 9-1. So only ran once this year and won. Wob Bomb at 10s. But if you like significantly at 5, you've got to like Montestive at 12s, haven't you? Also denied a clear run at air, and yet it's 2.5 times the price. And it's £4 better off just being beaten over a length. So it could be a good weekend for him, Haggis. I like Montestive in here, but as you mentioned, we're 5 places each way. But yeah, that draw start I thought was a little interesting.
Very interesting. Gold Cup winner, Silver Cup winner. Really interesting race.
Yeah.
You could run this 5 or 6 times and get very different results, couldn't you?
Yeah, you probably could. There's a good chance it'll be about a length between the first 4 or 5, and then come the line. Having said that, if it does get really testing, it might be a bit more of an open finish. Wob again for me.
Silver Cup winner.
Yeah, I was on him on the Silver Cup and stick with him.
You and Wobby were that day, weren't you?
Yeah, little Wobby. Yeah, we're on Wob. And he won well, didn't he? And he's in great form. He's in like the form of his life. He'd finished 3rd in the Great St Wilfrid coming into that race. He liked soft ground, all his best forms on soft ground. One of his best runs came at the track when he was, I think he won there actually over 7 furlongs. This is obviously 6, but he showed it last time that he's got no problem with the distance. If they get the rain that they expected to get, then I think he'll like the ground, and Wob can follow up.
Keels, this is your type of race. What have you got up your sleeve?
Yeah, love it. I've backed a couple. Albashir, he would have won outright if he'd have got a run in time at York when he dead-eated with some again. 3 starts ago. I think he's run really well both times since. He was 8th in the Stewards Club on what was barely raceable ground. You can't say he doesn't handle soft ground, given how many horses he beat in that race. And of course, he was 4th to significantly last time in the Air Gold Cup, and in another 50 to 100 yards, he'd have been in front. He finishes the race really, really strongly. I think we've seen that he goes at York. He's gonna run really well. And obviously Holly Doyle doesn't ride Wob, who she landed the gamble on at Air last time, although she obviously has an association with Archie Watts. The other one is Pendleton. Got to be interested in Pendleton. He won very easily. First run for July Cup winning trainer Judy Camacho at Thirsk 6 weeks ago. It was his first run for over a year. He used to be trained by Michael Dodds. He's gone up £5, but he didn't half win easily. He's still £8 lower than his peak rating. He's got tons of good form for York, including a 3rd to Dakota Gold off a similar mark to this, and a win on soft ground. Off a higher mark than this, so I think he's got a massive chance. If he doesn't bounce, he's had 6 weeks off. That should be enough, shouldn't it?
So from a 6 furlong sprint at York to a staying race at Newmarket. So the Cesarewitch, a lot of people love this race. Matt, how do they bet here? And the draw does have an impact, bizarrely, over such a long distance.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's obviously just the one bend as well, but you don't want to be drawn too high. But all the market change once Ryan Moore was confirmed on Pied Piper early on the week. With 6 places each way on this one as well. And yeah, he must have a decent chance, mustn't he? He's your current 9-2 favourite. Grand Providence, who won the trial at 9-1. I did like Vino Victrix. I thought he had all the credentials. He's £2 lower than went second last year, but the ground's certainly going against him, and the trainer could be in better form. Everyone will be waiting for the gamble on the Shunter, 10-1 for Emmett Mullins. Jesse Evans, 12-1. Just never runs a bad race, does he? But that was a grueler in the Irish Cesarewitch. We saw my mate Mozzie not really finish off his race when being at odds on his chasing debut this week. So a little bit worried about that. But if you like Pied Piper, I'm going to whisper this quietly. Goshen's going to have a chance, hasn't he? 16-1. Love the ground. Looks well handicapped. If the real Goshen turns up, I can see him going very, very well indeed.
That's the question. If the real one turns up, G-Rod, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's drawn in 1, isn't he? So it's quite a good draw for someone who you would have think is going to be blasting out there. Yeah, it could happen, couldn't it? It could happen. The draw is a weird one.
I don't sense a lot of enthusiasm there. You're like, oh, well, it might.
Well, it might. It might. You know, it's Goshen, isn't it? It's even money whether he turns up for a start and then he's got to beat.
Participates, gets to the
end. I love him. It'd be probably the most popular winner, wouldn't it, if he was to win? The draw is a weird one because you do usually want to be drawn 7 and lower. I've got best record. I think 4, 6, and 7 were the best 3 stalls when I was doing the analysis yesterday. But there have been quite a lot of winners from high stalls. Great White Shark, I think, won from 20. There was also one from 36 in 2011. Can't remember what it was called. It was favourite.
Never Can Tell.
That's what it was called. Yeah, Never Can Tell. It was favourite, I think. So I don't like to take too much, put too much emphasis on it.
On the draw.
You know.
Yeah.
Couple that I like were the Very Man, who ran really well on testing ground at Galway, and he won next time at Ascot. He was well held in the Cesarewitch, the Irish version, last time. But if it comes up really, really testing, he will definitely be suited by it because he's got a huge run there on testing ground at Galway. He's drawn out in stall 33 though, which is far from ideal. The other one is Temporize, Sid Hosey's runner. Jump Trainer's got an amazing record, haven't they, in the race? And I like Sid Hosey. He's a man after my own heart, isn't he? You know, he's put his money where his mouth is. I'm going to do it myself, you know, and he's making a fairly good, decent job of it, isn't he? So, yeah, won a big race at Goodwood on testing ground, didn't he, last time, and everything was in his favour. He's got better drawing 13. So they're my 2 against the field, but it's a great race for a bet for us punters because it's a bit like betting in the Grand National. And if you nail the winner of this and issue back Pied Piper, you're going to be on a big price, aren't you?
Yeah. Kills, what are you tipping?
Not Pied Piper. I think he's got no chance whatsoever.
Go on, for what reason?
Well, I'm not even convinced he's the best handicap hurdler in the field, to be honest, based on what he's done. You know, based on what he's done, and he's not a stayer, is he? He's not an out-and-out stayer, not in a million years. I know he finished 6th in the Ascot Stakes, but that was very, very fast ground. He actually he spent his 3-year-old career. He started his 3-year-old career on the flat with John and Thady Gosson, running him over 1 mile 6. He didn't win until they dropped him all the way back to 1 mile 2. I think it's going to be heavy. I think it's going to be borderline heavy ground tomorrow. I do not see him getting home at all. Cannot win. Can't have him in a million years. I massively agree with Matt. What is wrong with Goshen? All right, here's a horse who's won 2 Kingwell hurdles, one of them by 22 lengths on absolutely atrocious ground. Proved that he stays really well by finishing 2nd at Paisley Park at Kempton and on the long walk hurdle. Wasn't far off his best form that day, so he's still as good as he was. He should have won on 2.5 mile, 2 mile 5.5 at Sandown in the spring, but he was held up. And I don't know why they keep holding him up to get the trip because he gets it really, really well. He'd have won if he'd have made the running like he normally does. And he's just a very, very good horse. He's never really done it on the flat, but his last few runs on the flat have either been as a prep for jumping or as an afterthought after the jump season. And if he's been fully primed for this, he's got his ground. He's rated 88, currently rated 154 over hurdles. I think he's got a great chance. He's also got trap 1. Get him out, bounce him out to the front. He'll have a right go. And the other one I backed earlier in the week was the Shunter. I think he has to be a massive player. He was 4th in the Irish November Handicap on every ground last season, running on really, really strongly late. Had that very eye-catching run, went 4th over 1.5 miles at Gowran in August. And he might well have been being primed for the Irish Cesar at the Curragh, and he came out due to coughing. But if he's okay, he's definitely a player off a marker 95. So they're my 2 against the field. I do think Goshen has got a massive chance.
2 minds agree. Well, how would you like over £500 of free bets for the weekend? Check this out. Best bets of the weekend. I feel like Keels is going to come back with a bang, having been freshened up in America. What have you got up your sleeve?
Go for it. Go for Goshen.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's all about Goshen.
What about Goshen, eh? 115 at York Serried ranks for me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with a Radiant Crown in the 315 for Godolphin in the Zetland Stakes. Has looked very smart so far. We've already alluded to this is a meeting sponsored by them and could just be a race that goes their way. Weekend plans, Matt, what are you up to? It's a bit quieter than it has been, isn't it, on the sport front compared to recent weekends?
It is, yeah. The football's taking a backseat with the internationals. We sponsor the Rugby League Betfred Grand Final tomorrow night at Old Trafford. But no, it's a sofa weekend. Looking at the forecast, I mean, it's brilliant racing, isn't it? All we've got on Saturday. So yeah, sofa weekend, I think.
Well, Keels, you can't be going that far. You're surely grounded for a few days, having been away, aren't you?
Well, sort of. I mean, I've got to go and pick my wife and daughter up from the airport tomorrow because they're still in America. So yeah, it's all around that really. So I've got to look after them. They'll be jet lagged, so I'll have to sort out all the dinner and all that. So I'm sure I'll find a couple of hours down the pub.
I was just going to say, I'm sure you'll find a couple of hours. Your regular pub with the sort of multi-screens going on and the pints in the background, yeah?
Absolutely. Pints will not be in the background.
That'll be very much to the fore.
Have you been on a day out with Kealy?
No, I haven't. I've got him next weekend on Champions Day.
Champions Day, yeah.
But that's an early start, and I think he'll be there to the end. I might not be there to the end. I haven't seen him in action yet, in full swing.
You've got a treat coming your way. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
I feel like your weekend's going to be a bit calmer.
Yeah, no, it's my oldest son's birthday this weekend, so we've got.
How old's your oldest?
He's 9 this weekend. Okay. Yeah, so we've got about 10 9-year-olds coming over for a party and all sorts going on Saturday, and then I'm working Sunday, so it's going to be busy, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be great.
Good stuff. Looking forward to a good weekend. There is plenty of rain forecast in Newmarket, which is where I'm heading. Next week, it's a little bit different. I will be live on Champions Day with a fantastic team beside me, Paul Kealy being one of them, Tom Siegel being another, and a mystery guest we'll keep for next week, completing the team. We'll see you then on Saturday morning. Have a good day. Have a good week.